Hello there, welcome to Penpositive. This is Vinod Narayan. I believe you have checked out what Penpositive podcast is. Do send me feedbacks. Let me know about any new topics, about the format, about suggestions, comments, about the because that's one of the areas that I want to probably spend more energy and effort on, because it makes it easier for me to create content. Videos definitely are the best way for people to reach more people, but I think podcasts are going to be the future, in which many of the content that at least what I create here, be it a book review, or be it talking about anything related to work, professional or personal, all these talking head videos would automatically get transformed to podcast is what I think. So please do check that out, and also subscribe to this channel, because I'm going to have regular videos here as well. Till all of you and the future audience all start following on podcast. But anyway, so today what we have is that we have got a book. This is a book called To Raise a Boy by Emma Brown. Classrooms, locker rooms, bedrooms, and the hidden struggles of American boyhood. I picked up this book from the county library, and the reason I picked up this book was, so my son, he is getting into high school, and I was having this thought last few months as to what it means for a boy to be a man. And I was trying to reflect on how, as I grew up, how I used to look at what being a man means. Now, you would have maybe father figures, or you'd have people that you would aspire to be. Now, one of the things that at that time, it really I did not think there was a problem, though I felt bad. One of the things that it came to my mind as I was reading this book is, so growing up in Kerala, in India, one of the important things about being a man was to have facial hair, and I did not. And even now, it's not thick enough, and it's not proper enough. Yes, I do have to shave. That's the only thing. But otherwise, facial hair is a total. I mean, doesn't not to the extent of when I was growing up. What they talked about being a man means you need to have a mush that you could put like that. So and I used to get ridiculed, not bullied, but made fun of by even people who I considered close to me, because they didn't feel it was bad. They didn't feel that I felt bad about it, and after some time you get used to it. And even today, I think that might be a concern with a lot of people. But then we always talk about, and what the book really brings forth is, and Emma Brown, working at Washington Post, her second kid was a boy, and that's when she started looking at what kind of a man should this boy grow up to be. We always talk about protecting girls because the problems that they face in school, at work, and everything. And we often don't discuss much about boys. But boys also have their own struggles in terms of fitting into a group, whether it is classrooms or whether it is locker rooms, as they say, and being victimized, being assaulted. I say assaulted because, as Emma points out in the book, there are many assaults that happen on the boys, which are never termed as sexual assaults, because they just call it the boy thing. But the impact of that on boys is very high. And one interesting part that Emma mentions over here, and this is how we stereotype things, and we get biased, and we look at problems in a very skewed manner. So she talks about a gentleman who says that when he was 14 or 15 years old, his dad was at home, and then dad's friends, few people came in, and they were all drinking, and then there was a female friend of his dad, and the dad said to her, his friend, my boy, he's still a virgin. I think you guys you should teach him a few things. And then at the age of 15, he lost his virginity, and he says, looking back, he's feeling, why did it have to be like that? And the striking thing that Emma points out over there is, even when you think it was a boy of 15 years old and had sex with a woman, adult woman, we are not considering it with the same gravity as we should if it was other way around. Imagine a situation where it was a 15-year-old girl and it was a man. We would have totally seen that in a different way. And while both of that has to be looked through the same lens, and I'm sure there are a lot of people in this world who would take both these incidents differently. And these are all because of how we grew up, and we thought that every boy at the age of 15 would be okay with that. No. And then we think about, as boys grow up, every boy is not the same, right? Some people are soft spoken. They have a different way of interacting and relating with people, the way they talk, the way they walk, the way they interact with people. And if that is not fitting the stereotype of what a man is, or the description of what a man is, then they get bullied, and they're made fun of. Now, we definitely in schools today, we talk a lot about sexual orientation, and there is a lot of support groups for that. But for boys to grow as boys into the kind of man they want, right? And it doesn't have to be that they don't have to be strong physically. They don't have to be bullying others. They don't have to be talking to girls in a different manner. They don't have to do anything that is a set description of being a man, and still they can grow up to be individuals who can really contribute to society. And that conversations is often not there. How do you want your kid, your boy, to grow up being a man, and how do you want him to treat women? And I was watching this movie called Captain Fantastic yesterday. And in that movie, at the end of the movie, the son is leaving somewhere, and the dad says, when you have sex, be gentle. And how many parents would tell their kids how they should be treating women? How many parents would have that conversation? Yes, a lot of parents would have that conversation with girls, because we always think, yes, you should not be assaulted, you should not be sexually assaulted, you should be safe and everything, and totally the boy doesn't come into the picture, because we are not thinking that they would go through the same struggles when they are growing up. If they are confused as to what it means to be a man, don't you think it is high time that we start to have that conversation in schools, inside families? I think To Raise a Boy by Emma Brown is a very important book. I picked up the book to understand what American boyhood is all about, because I didn't grow up here. But it took me back decades ago when I was a boy and growing up, and the struggles that I had. And then after after I grew up, the conversations I've had with my friends about how they grew up, and we all struggled in one way or the other, and but our struggles were brushed underneath the carpet because those were a boy thing. Those were things that you had to. Those struggles were part of growing up. But no, I think there is a lot that needs to be discussed. I highly recommend you guys to read this book, To Raise a Boy by Emma Brown. Check out the podcast again. I'm asking you because I want you guys to take a look at the podcast and see, and I need feedbacks on that. You take care, be content, be pen positive, stay safe, and please be kind.